Bullony Basketball.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. As you can see, I got the whole Minnesota crew here today. Jelson below me, Ian to my side, Jack diagonal. How's it going, guys?
Fantastic. Blizzard weather.
Yeah, it's going blizzard.
Yeah, going pretty good.
It's going blizzard, going good. All right, well, right here, it's actually weird because it is not snowing. So, very interesting, but it's raining for a while. So, let's talk first of all about the big team that I know you guys follow the most, Minnesota Timberwolves, with all you guys kind of being from Minnesota. You guys have not had a bad start to the year. Up and down, I would say at times. Right now, you're hanging around that 4 or 5 seed. But just in general, with what you guys have seen from your team so far this year, I want to know where you would assess this team right now. So any of you guys can start. What's like the verdict right now on the T-Wolves from some fans?
We need a point guard.
I agree. And I've talked about this in just about every content that we've done together, Garrett.
Okay.
Timberwolves need a point guard.
Mike Conley needs to take his ass to the LA Clippers retirement home.
And Rob
Get that
Dillingham.
man off my team.
Rob Dillingham can take his ass to the damn Ducks. Go play in China, pal.
Ducks. The Beijing Ducks is crazy.
I haven't paid attention to a lick of Timberwolves basketball this year, so I go based off of record. We're mid.
Yeah, and the worst thing to me is that it's very true. Like what he said is like you can look at the record and like obviously you're not gonna know like all the storylines and all that stuff, but like it kind of tells the story in the same way. Like the team is just really mid. Like at times you have really high highs and at times you have really low lows. I mean, we beat the Thunder, then we lose to the Nuggets on Christmas Day, which is fine. The Nuggets are a very good basketball team, and then you lose to Brooklyn yesterday, and I don't know where we are as a team. Like I'd say on any given night, I think we could beat the best team in the world, but on any given night we could lose to the worst team in the world. And that's kind of the story of Chris Finch as a head coach. He's just, I've called him Chris Grinch in the past.
Grinch Finch.
Yes, Grinch Finch. I don't know. As a basketball team right now, as I said, I think we could beat any team. I think we could also lose to any team, which sounds stupid because obviously basketball, any given night type stuff. But as a team that has made back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances with very little change in a team other than Mike Conley turning into the frickin', I don't even know, like Dwight Howard movement style. I don't know. I don't know where this team is going to be at the end of the year. And honestly, you could tell me where the 8 seed at the end of the year, or you could tell me where the 3 seed at the end of the year, and I would believe you either way.
Yeah, I think that just with you guys right now, I will say like the ups and downs definitely being mid, as pretty much all you guys described it, is pretty fitting because as you were just saying there, Jelson, like you could beat any team. You guys beat OKC. You have beaten teams like Denver and stuff in the past, and that game on Christmas, you could say how Chris Finch, the Grinch, stole Christmas maybe because that should have been a winnable game. But also it's like, you losing to teams like the Nets or other teams down there, like it's just rough. I saw like you guys are one of the 3 teams in the league that are top 10 in offense, defense, and 3-point shooting. So that is a good sign, along with the Thunder and the Spurs, and those are 2 teams that seem like contenders right now. But I don't know, it just seems like a little bit like something's missing. Anthony Edwards works so hard, like it feels like every game, and he doesn't really have much of a point guard. Randall has played better, I would say, at least a little bit recently, and Gobert still has his moments, but just feels like there's a little bit of stuff that's missing, and it could be from the bench in general. Like maybe some of those young guys need to step up.
I mean, unless any of you guys have anything to add, I would just say like there was a statistic where I think it was Naz Reid leads the NBA in percentage of points off the bench, like compared to like all the other teams in the NBA, which is something we've kind of come to expect with Naz Reid as a player. I mean, guy is a spark plug when he's on, and there's a reason he's won a 6th Man of the Year before, and there's a reason he's going to be a front runner to win it this year. But outside of him, I really do question the production off the bench. Bones Highland is a guy right now who I would prefer to start over Dante DiVincenzo, just because I think he fits the need of the team as a playmaker and as a scorer. Dante obviously is a scorer, but he doesn't really provide the playmaking. Some nights he does, but that you kind of need as a team that's looking to contend. And I'm not saying Bones is a championship level point guard because he's not. Could I say he's a championship level scorer off the bench? Sure. I could definitely see that. But as of right now, if you're looking at the roster, and we've mentioned we need a point guard, but if you're looking at the roster, Bones needs to be starting. And if we want to improve the bench, where do you get it from? How do you find scorers? Right now, we're saying, okay, Bones, you be a scorer, Nasri be a scorer. But there are also lineups now when you see when Ant is off the floor and when Julius Randle's off the floor, where the offense seems extremely stagnant. And as I said, much credit to Naz Reid for what he does. The issue is it's hard to run your offense off of a undersized 5 or a standard 4 that can be wishy-washy on nights at certain times. I think it's a lot easier when your spark plug is coming from a point guard or a 2 guard.
Right.
I think that if you can look at, coming with the trade deadline coming up not too long, I think that if you're looking there, obviously you're looking for a point guard, but also something we kind of talked about in previous content if people watch the other stuff we do. It is just outside of the point guard position, maybe looking for a spark plug, and that could be a guy that could score off the bench at the 1 or 2. Or maybe a guy that's going to be, as we mentioned, hustling, a guy that's going to give you maybe a little bit more energy at the 1 or 2. And that's just something I think we're missing right now. I wouldn't be disappointed or sad if we went and actually added 2 point guards at this deadline. Obviously, hopefully making one splash play, and I don't know what that would be. I would really like a realistic guy like Dennis Schroeder. I think he's somewhat realistic because the Kings are the Kings. Obviously, Kobe White has been in the mix. Darius Garland's been in the mix. I think Darius Garland is just too expensive.
Don't take Kobe White.
Yeah,
and I think and Kobe White's not like a true point guard. You're kind of stuck in that position.
I want to ask too, and then we can talk about the point guard stuff because I know I've asked you this, Jelson. I kind of want to hear what either Ian or Jack says about this because I've sometimes been critical of Anthony Edwards in the realm of comparing him to a Jokic or a Shea or a Luka. You know what I mean? Because those guys, it feels like, do so much, and Anthony Edwards is still a top 10 player in the league, but can he be that number 1 guy? I kind of want to know what you guys are thinking about that, because there's sometimes down the stretch of games. Last year there was a playoff game, a key one against the Thunder, where the supporting cast did show up, and then if he really had an Anthony Edwards type of game, it gets the job done. So I want to know what you guys think from that perspective, if you're going head to head with an OKC in a 7-game series with Shea, or maybe the Lakers with Luka, or maybe the Nuggets with Jokic. What do you guys think you would need to see from maybe Anthony Edwards and I guess some of those other supporting star role players, I guess?
I think the biggest thing for me as a very neutral NBA fan, one of the things that I notice most about when Anthony Edwards does not come up in the clutch or has a bad game, it's more of a reaction of oh, this happened again. Whereas if Jokic or someone else, like maybe Shea Gilgeous has that happen, people are shocked a little bit more. I think it's known in Edwards' career so far, even with, positive reinforcements and a good supporting cast, that he tends to have very inconsistent play, especially when it matters most, and especially more relevant in regular season games where it feels like these games aren't going to matter much, but coming down the stretch as far as standings and even this year at this rate, even making the playoffs goes, it will be detrimental. And I think that he still has a lot of room to grow since he's so young. But just in that sense, where if it's, boiling down to him performing and he's having a bad game, we're so used to it as Timberwolves fans because it's happened so many times. Whereas with Jokic or any other person of, top 10 caliber, if it happens to them, you're kind of questioning, are there any external things going on? Maybe in their life or something affecting them, maybe injury wise, because it so rarely happens.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Jack?
I think it's more of him having to mature as a player thing and having to realize when he isn't having one of his nights and he has to start playmaking more. I mean, it didn't really happen to Jokic as much, I think, because he's more of a passer and he matured and he became a superstar older. I think a player who's had the similar kind of things happen is Jason Tatum. And I think he's kind of been able to mature and become a better player, more consistent in the playoffs. So I think he has to kind of look at that.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, just go ahead.
He needs a point guard. Anthony Edwards needs a point guard to be able to help him at this young age.
I I did want to mention something. We had discussed it in detail, me and Garrett, but I did want to mention that something that Ian had said, where it's like, especially like he's a guy where you don't really know what you're going to get out of him. I would say in big time games, you usually get the sense that he's going to try to like go out there and at least try to like help the team win. That's never been a really big issue to me. Like we see it in the playoffs, he's generally a playoff riser. For most series he's been in, outside of maybe one or two. The thing I did want to mention though was the biggest piece in what Ian said, and the thing that was most accurate was you don't know what you're going to get out of him in a regular season game when it's a game against a team that is not good and seems like it's not going to matter at the end of the season, and he ends up being less than stellar in his performance, or like it seems like he just doesn't care. I would say it's been better this year, but we came into this season with him saying, like, somebody asked him about it, like, how are you going to keep your head on during those games? And he said, I'm going to go and try to break scoring records. I'm going to go out there and try and break records. And sometimes it feels like that, but other times it feels like he just checks out.
Yeah.
And it's like, superstar players don't, like, I mean, everybody has an off night, but guys like Jokic, guys like Shea, I don't have a lot of respect for Shea, but what he does as a basketball player and the way he plays allows him to be relatively consistent.
Yeah.
And that is partially because he relies
100 games right now. He's at
right. And I think that part of that is obviously because Shea relies on the refs a lot for his game. And I think that because the refs are, you kind of look at the basketball and you say, what is going to be consistent, right? Mm-hmm. The refs are going to be consistently inconsistent, but consistent towards what they call for him. So he's going to go ahead and do, how are we going to make my game consistent? I'm going to rely on the refs a little bit. I'm going to play my game. Jokic is such a good passer. And that's where I agree with what Jack said. And he just needs a point guard. He needs a steady, he needs a stabilizer in the offense. And as a player, he could be the one option. But I think one of those things where can you show that you can consistently perform against teams that aren't as good as you?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, especially with what both you guys were saying between a combination of maturity and also consistency. Because, while Anthony Edwards generally, as you said, does rise in those situations, sometimes there's games where it's like, doesn't feel like that. Because I'm going to be real. Like, I think when you guys traded Cat for Randall, I thought in my head, I'm like, okay, Anthony Edwards is going to be the scoring champion for some of the next several years. Like, he's just going to have to be that guy. And he really hasn't. I think right now he's still like top 10 in scoring points per game, but he's like around 8th or 9th or something like that, which is weird. It feels like he should almost even be doing more, but that's just how high of a standard he's at. Because if you're comparing guys who are, as you said, Jack, like younger guys too, there's the only guy who's drafted in the 2020s that's probably on that same level of him, along with Ant, is probably like Wemby. You know what I mean? And he's also like a freak of nature. So it's a very rare case you might not come across again. Like, that's just how talented Anthony Edwards is. So that's kind of why I wanted to ask you guys about that, because I mean, yes, he still is a top 10 player in the league, and he definitely has the potential to be a number one guy, but I think there's just like a few steps left before he can eclipse a Jokic, Luka, Shea, Giannis, people in that mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think part of the scoring not rising as much as we expected, though, is like Jaden McDaniels taking more of a leap offensively.
I agree.
Like when we had Cat, he was like a 9-10 point per game scorer, and now he's like a 15-16 point per scorer guy. So I think part of that can be looked at.
And on top of that, it's not like Julius Randle is playing too much differently in terms of production-wise offensively than what Cat was doing either. Like, obviously, he's not putting up, like, Cat was pretty much a consistently 25, 26 guy, where Julius Randle's maybe a 22 point per game kind of guy. Mm-hmm. But there are games where we see Jaden McDaniels drop a 25 piece, 30 piece type performance, and then you also have to factor in Julius's scoring. And I feel like Rudy's been a little bit more productive this year, which is something I would like to get into later. It was just more Rudy discussion, but I think as a player, the reason his scoring isn't rising is because you did trade Cat, you replaced him with a guy who's going to be around equally as efficient and as productive offensively. In a general sense, he obviously is not as good of a 3-point scorer as Cat is. And then you also have the leaps from Jaden. You also take in another scorer, like a guy like Dante, which is something you didn't have before. I mean, we were relying on Jalen Noel to, be a guy for this team during the time, for a lot of the time that Cat was playing here. So I think to that degree, there's a reason we wanted Dante. To that degree, I feel like the team as a whole is a better scoring team. I don't know if the stats say that, but when it comes to what we would want from Ant, I think that the reason he didn't take that leap is because we have more scorers on the team, or at least guys that you can go to and you can feed for a corner three or for a slot three or whatever the case.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's still, like, of course, not just Cap, but also like Alexander Walker, and I know some of you guys were critical of Kyle Anderson, like when he used to be on the team and stuff like that, like guys that, you know, went out the door. So I don't know. I just thought like maybe there would be, especially with the depth still a little bit inconsistent with some of those young guys still trying to find their own. So that's why I was just bringing that up. But we can. I was actually about to progress it here, but if you want to say your thing on Rudy Gobert real quick, Jelson, and then we can get on to the next segment here.
I cannot stress how much I miss Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
He's a beast. I wish we had him, and I still love that guy. I really enjoy watching. He's the only reason I enjoy watching Atlanta play, to be honest, or get any enjoyment out of that team. But Rudy, I don't know what the odds are right now, but he should be the odds-on favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year this year.
I can check.
This year?
Yeah. I want to say it's probably Wemby, to be honest, just because the team's so good, but he's missed time, so I don't really know what the odds are right now.
I think he's still eligible, though, so that's the one.
Yeah. I think Rudy has been such an impactful defender. Who's the?
Chet.
Yeah, it's just, that's so stupid to me. Chet is nowhere nearly as valuable as a defender.
Bam, Amin, Draymond, Scotty, Asor, Evan Mobley, then Rudy.
Rudy should be the odds-on favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. I think I would argue that this year is one of his top 2 or 3 seasons defensively as a basketball player. I mean, the things he does every single night for this basketball team is unreal. Like maybe offensively, and I was talking to some people, super uncoordinated on offense, but he's super coordinated on defense, as everybody knows, or as most people know. But the things he does for this team is more valuable than any defensive player on any team in the league. Without him, we are such a bad defensive team, and with him, we are a borderline elite defensive team. I think that teams like the Spurs have enough defenders to the point that if Wemby's out, as we saw, the Spurs can hold their feet. You know what I'm saying? They can hold their legs. Other teams, like, I just do not think Chet is that valuable as a defender in the league. I mean, he is tall, but I don't think he's that skilled of a defender, in my opinion. And obviously there's other guys that I got to give credit to. Bam is an extremely athletic defender, a guy that can guard a lot of positions. Just don't think he's as valuable as a defender as Rudy is. And then everybody else mentioned is, you know, when you're talking about guards, I mean, very rarely do guards win. Marcus Smart and then Gary Payton. Like, yeah, I don't think rare. A guard has a realistic chance. And I think it should be Rudy. I mean, people will say, oh, well, they're fascinated about Wemby's height and they're fascinated about Bam's versatility, which I'm not going to say don't be, because, you know, you got to enjoy basketball. You got to enjoy what you're watching, right? But Rudy is just such an unbelievable defender, and maybe he doesn't have the switchability. I mean, he is the best isolation defender in the NBA currently, based on shot percentage against. And on top of that, when you watch the games, nobody wants to attack the paint. I mean, this is something we've seen across his entire career. When Nas comes in the game, or we have somebody, or we're playing a smaller lineup where Rudy isn't on the floor, what are they going to do? They're going right to the basket. Every single game, we get killed at the basket when Rudy isn't on the floor. That's why our defensive rating drops so much when Rudy isn't on the floor. And that's why I say, like, they're probably not going to give it to Rudy because they're fascinated about all these other things. Chet's on the best team in the league, which I think the best team in the league is obviously they have the easiest schedule and they're being proven somewhat of frauds. Obviously, you're still 25 and whatever, right? But I'm not going to say like they're a complete fraud. But Chet isn't as good of a defender as you may seem because you look at their record. That team is so good defensively as a whole.
Look at all the defenders they have too. Shea can defend. Kate.
That is another situation.
Alex Caruso.
I just think like they have so much around them, and it's like, as you mentioned, Rudy has to be
J-Dub.
the focal point there. J-Dub, Lou Dort, like you were mentioning Caruso and everything.
Yeah, Lou Dort.
Mason Wallace,
Lou Dort's
like
so dirty.
So, but Rudy, like just even from the team of everyone in the top 12 in defensive rating, rating, like has the best rating on the Timberwolves. So that is a good point there. I was laughing too because I was looking over when you said he's a brute force defensively, and I looked over at Ian and he's like cracking his neck like oh, Rudy means business or something.
Oh, I'm still reeling. Probably the biggest reason why I haven't paid attention to the Wolves this year is because they got rid of my boy Luka Garza.
Oh yeah.
Fuckers.
What was your favorite?
I'm so sad.
Luka Garza,
I'm so sad about that. That mofo actually took a photo with me at Cowboy Jack's. When I pestered him, I'm like, "Yo, you want to rip my vape and I can get a photo?" He's like.
Hey, he's balling in the Celtics though right now. He's been pretty good.
I mean, at least they're giving him minutes because he was a damn bench rider over at the Timberwolves. So
I can't believe Rudy's plus 3,000.
I mean, dude, look at his stats. He blows every defender out of the water. Dude, he's 7'1". Yeah, pause. He's 7'1".
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
And every single defensive metric, like obviously I don't know, but I bet damn near every one of them says Rudy is the best defender in the NBA. A guy that has historically been clowned on for being not a good isolation defender is the best isolation defender in the NBA at this current point. The thing that everybody has nitpicked is his isolation defense. And this year, it's the best in the entire damn league. And people are still saying that he shouldn't be defensive player of the year, or he's not even being talked about. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good point. Post defense, like he's always been pretty solid at that, especially if it's like, helping out where needed. We saw that in Utah even. But I think even his screen navigation defensively has probably been better than ever. Like sometimes he's even been switching on the people on the perimeter. So it's a good point you brought up with the isolation stuff. Well, maybe we'll have to, have a deeper conversation about that as the season goes on, and Wemby's still getting all this praise and Rudy's still up there. But yeah, I think that's definitely fair. Go ahead, sorry.
They have Chet as like the runaway.
Yeah,
plus 150.
That's not. Like I don't know. That's just crazy
like,
to me, especially
Wemby's
the way
plus 400.
Well, in the way the Thunder have been playing recently too against the Spurs and stuff, and the Spurs are an elite defense, and I know that doesn't help Rudy's case, but like, wouldn't you think that at least helps Wemby's case over Chet in that sense? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Wemby bullied him.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there was multiple times because the Timberwolves played the Thunder a couple of games ago, and we beat the Thunder. And Chet looked terrible against Rudy. Like, I mean,
yeah, he sucked. No,
and like obviously, it is such a big impact because Chet is I will give this. Chet is a much better offensive player than what Rudy is.
Right.
But when Chet looks like Rudy Gobert on the offensive end against Rudy Gobert, that should tell you something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and defensively he's not up to par either. So yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think Rudy just needs more respect maybe in that argument. I'm glad you guys were here to, defend his case. But if you want, we can keep it pushing to the next topic, talking about an NBA player or a team that always comes up small when it matters most. If by the title, of course, this is called the Minny-Show. So I feel like we can talk about Minnesota, but also talking about players that come up very miniature when it matters most, if you see what I did there. I don't know which one you want to start off, just giving me, it could be either a player or a team. If you have both, you can say that too, but just someone who comes up small when it's like, man, I wanted you to give me more production and you let me down. Who's that guy or that team for you guys?
I have a couple of players, but one team.
Okay.
The team is the Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay.
I mean, they had the MVP, and Joel Embiid has yet to make the conference finals, and he's one of my players, Joel Embiid. I don't think he's ever going to be the form he ever was in anymore. His knees are cooked, and that's not the reason why. But he just hasn't performed to the level that the team needed in the situations where you want to progress in the playoffs or you want to get to a conference finals, make a finals. And when you have the MVP on your team, or a guy that's going to be the runner-up on the MVP, like he had been the past couple of years before he had won the MVP, kind of expect that team to be a really good playoff team. It's just not the case. Another player that we'll be talking, that I want to talk about, is Paul George. Playoff P. Just not. Yeah, exactly. just not a guy that I think that is. I got a lot of love for his game. But I just don't think he's a guy that can really rise to the occasion, especially now, but at least previously.
Yeah, definitely fair. You know, it goes hand in hand as a player on the Sixers, so that only tells you probably how that season might end up turning. You know what I mean? What do you? Before we dive more into that, what do you guys think, Ian, Jack? Who's your player or team?
I mean, another one of my players I want to talk about. I want to talk about the 2016-ish era Houston Rockets, but a guy on that team I want to focus on also played for the 76ers, James Harden.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
He just he's talking about Embiid being a MVP and never going to the finals. I mean, James Harden made it in OKC, but I mean, he was around the bench. I mean, look at him as the main guy.
Has the most punchable face I've ever seen out of someone in the NBA, bro. And I feel
who does?
Wait, who does, Harden or Embiid?
Harden, bro. When that man's out of breath and he looks at you like
that is true.
I'm about to...
Especially when he sticks on the fats, dude, every time he wants to get traded.
Oh my god, dude, stop it. Yeah,
I mean,
give me nightmares.
You gave James Harden Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. He couldn't get it done. You gave him Joel Embiid. He couldn't get it done. You gave him Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook. He couldn't get it done. He can't do it.
Kawhi, Paul George.
Yeah.
Dude, name a player that's played with more talent than freaking James Harden, bro. Like
the only one that's probably like Shaq or LeBron.
Kevin Durant.
They've at least won, you know.
Right.
Yeah, Kevin Durant's
I guess
won.
Kevin Durant's another arguable one. But all those guys have a title, you know what I mean? Harden's still trying to find it. And a lot of guys
I would say
with have a title.
Mind-blowing.
Like as a neutral NBA fan, for me, this is probably a sleeper pick.
Okay.
But I would low-key pick Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, especially considering, you know, they were bottom barrel for years, right? And then all of a sudden, post-COVID, they come up and go on this crazy freaking run. And everyone, even I thought they were going to beat the Bucks after a few games. I'm like, okay, they're down 3-2. They're going to come back and win. And then after that final series, it's been fall after fall after fall for that team. And some people might put Devin Booker as the fall guy, but I have not heard an ounce of like talk about him being like great ever since that finals loss. And I think that is going to stick with him for the rest of his career, even after they got Kevin Durant. The Timberwolves were great in 2024, but they got blown out of the water by the Timberwolves. They should have at least won like one game out of that series. But the downfall needs to be studied because of how prominently they rose and how immediately they crashed.
Yeah.
Like the stock market in fucking 08.
That's a crazy comparison.
So quick.
Yeah, the classic the recession era. But yeah, I don't know. I think that with Booker, it's a good point because one of the things he's always been bad at is elimination games. You know, for 3 straight years, that would always be like his worst game. It's like you think, oh, I'm facing elimination, I got to rise to the occasion, and he didn't. I think the only time he did was actually against your guys' Timberwolves when you guys swept them, and it's like at that point it didn't really matter because he could have dropped 50 and they would have still probably lost. You know what I mean? So
dude, he is the NBA's equivalent of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Or like Toronto Maple Leafs lore goes crazy. Just Game 7 always sticks with Maple Leafs fans' minds. They never win. They never win.
And
it's terrible.
That Game 7 where they lost to the Mavericks was probably one of his worst games ever. Most dismal showings. You guys all mentioned good ones, though. I think the Suns in general definitely have been going downhill over the last couple of years. Even those Rockets, you know, I think the 2018 was really their year with Harden and the Rockets. And then, of course, they missed all those threes. And it's like now you could say, well, Chris Paul got hurt, whatever. But the year after disappointed me because I'm like, Durant got hurt. You guys should have won that series. Yeah. And they didn't. So that was disappointing. And then same thing with Paul George and the Sixers. Sixers obviously never been past second round in this era. And Paul George is just always dropped. I think in the last like 7 years, the only time he's risen up in the playoffs was that year with the Clippers when Kawhi tore his ACL. You know what I mean? And even then he wasn't perfect. Mine though, it's actually similar to a lot of these because he played with he played with some of these guys as a teammate. And then I have a team as well. But my team or my player is Chris Paul. I think that Chris Paul does definitely drop in the playoffs. You know, I've just seen too many times where he's losing series where he should win and he should come up big, like against Portland and when they lost like all their starters except Dame, or when he got outplayed by Gordon Hayward in a Game 7, or you know, like obviously those finals that you just mentioned, Ian. Like he underperformed too in that one. The Rockets situation, like a lot of these situations like we just named, I think him as well. And then I'll throw a unique one in here because I was gonna go with like maybe an obvious team like the Sixers or maybe the Clippers in the last couple years. But I'll go with the 1990s, late 1990s Miami Heat with Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway, and all those guys, because for 3 straight years near the end of the decade, especially around the time that Michael Jordan retired and the East was wide open, they had the 1 seed and lost to the Knicks. They had the 2 seed and lost to the Knicks, and they had another 2 seed and lost to the Knicks every time when they were a lower seed. Like that's just like what did Embiid say that one time where he's like, this is not a rivalry? Like that's just belt year after year after year, and especially losing as like a 1 seed and a 2 seed against a 7 and 8 seed version of that team. Like that's just unfortunate. And I'm a firm believer that for the regular season in 99, I think Alonzo Mourning should have been the MVP. But in the playoffs, their team would always sell. So I wanted to bring that one up as a little more of an old school one because I know we'd probably touch on like the Hardens, the Paul Georges, and you know what I mean? So.
Right. I got a lot of respect for obviously who Zoe was as a player. We ain't talking about Lonzo, okay? All you newbies.
Yeah, that's another player who comes up small now, like Lonzo.
Right.
It feels like he's not the same player anymore.
Bro, his knees came up small. Yeah, same with Joel Embiid.
Give me LeVar for 500 ounces.
Yeah,
and he lost his leg or his foot.
Yeah, LeVar lost his leg.
He amputated it.
I still think LeVar said that he's still beating. You said that LeVar said he's still beating MJ on one leg.
Yeah, dude.
Hey man, wheelchair.
I actually have a comparison for our football fans for James Harden. Okay. James Harden is a Minnesota Vikings.
Oh god, no, dude. Up until this past year, James Harden is the Toronto Blue Jays of the NBA.
I've seen people compare James Harden like to Aaron Rodgers. Just of course, Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl in like 2010 though, so that's like the only difference. But all the times they're coming up short when it's like is
when
very
you're favorite.
Similar. Yeah, So.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, no, maybe Brett Favre. I don't know, dude. Freaking 09. Well, then again, I mean, freaking Saints. Anyways, this is an NBA podcast, not an MLB, NHL, and NFL podcast.
That is true. But I like how it's actually crazy how we all picked a player that had some teammate link with one another. Like at least someone was teammates with another.
That's a pretty crazy pull.
That is pretty crazy. I think we all picked some good teams though too. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to add or you want to get in this mini game.
I just wanted to say, if you guys go back and watch one of the Kia 3 streams, we talked about how the NBA is in an era of previous superstar players being overpaid. I think damn near everyone that we mentioned was in that conversation.
Yeah.
When we had that, I think there are guys that had a lot of potential to potentially win a championship, or people thought so, and everybody's like, their time is coming. And it just hasn't come, and I pause. Whoa. And I think that
chill out there, you go. That's strike 2 now, Jelson.
I'm about to strike out, but I think that
one letter away he was there. Just go ahead.
But I definitely think that maybe that has part to do with something about players being overpaid. Is maybe like teams think, oh, they definitely still can win a championship, or they're destined to, and they just aren't. And I think that those guys that we mentioned are definitely part of that.
Yeah, it's a good point. And the other thing too with these players is none of them have a championship. Everyone that we named, so it's like, yeah, you could maybe understand giving someone like Klay Thompson that money at first, and it's like he helped contribute to a winning culture. But obviously now we see that Klay is not the same player. You know what I mean? Like, so, and there's some other guys as well. Like you can maybe argue like same thing with like Westbrook and like a couple of these other dudes. But yeah, I think that all the ones that we named definitely. Go ahead.
I actually have 2 more players to add.
Okay.
Wilt Chamberlain could never get it done. That man was a playoff dropper. He could not beat Bill Russell for the life of him. Another player though, Ben Simmons.
Oh my God, true.
I think Ben Simmons is an all-around dropper.
Simmons.
Career dropper.
Oh my God.
He's career dropped.
I just thought about him.
Dude, he's a professional fisher now.
Is he really?
Actually?
Yeah.
Oh wow, good for him.
I was thinking about people overpaid, and I was like, Ben Simmons,
Mike Muscala.
At least he finally.
Gorgie Ding.
Mike Muscala's a Minnesota legend, man. Y'all know
Mike
Muscala's from Minnesota.
I had no idea, but it makes sense with the double M name. Be somebody starts with an M.
Laser Hayward.
The Will thing, I will say, I mean, yeah, he could never get it done, but also it's like you have to look at like the teams that Bill Russell had. Like this is the other thing too. It's another reason why I'm at least an Oscar defender, Oscar Robertson, just because it's like, man, his teams compared to Bill Russell's were not up to par. And usually, like in those series, you could maybe argue like there's some series where Will Chamberlain wasn't the best player, but I think in a lot of series he was. It just so happened like he probably didn't have enough around him compared to like Bill Russell. So
especially
obviously
for how pivotal it was. Like that was a freak of nature back then. That was unheard of. Nowadays it's like, okay, well, we got like this person, that person.
I will say, I think that no one's gonna touch his 10,000 record though.
Oh hell no.
Oh my God! You can't pull that. You friggin' got yoinked by that the other day, a couple weeks ago.
Hey man, not on this page. That, people don't know. So if you guys are ready, mini game time. I think this is going to be a real good one. The good thing, you guys will be able to work together. So we'll see how well you guys do. There's going to be
Jack.
only 3 questions. Oh wait, what did you say, Jelson?
Jack is
I was muted.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's going to be 3 questions. It's going to be 3 teams, and then I'm going to give you a stat with each team. You guys are going to have 30 seconds to just shout out names of people who are top 10 all time for that team in that stat. You get more points for the higher they rank on there, and yeah, there's no penalty for any incorrect guesses. So even if you guess like 14 wrong names and 2 correct ones, you still get credit for those 2 correct ones, but you don't lose anything for the 14 wrong ones.
I'm so cooked, dude. I'm terrible at minigame.
Well, we'll see. You guys are all working together, but we'll see. Hopefully, you guys can do something good. Now, I will say the first one you should definitely be able to get a good score on. So, are you ready?
Jack, I need you to carry.
I'm here for moral support, guys. I get you one answer and that's it.
And I can't tell you what is the right or wrong answers until after the fact, after the 30 seconds are up, but I can tell you like time updates.
All right.
So again, if you guys are ready, we'll get into the...
We get 30 seconds?
You get 30 seconds. Just shout out names like as they come. Pause. But
Whoa.
anyways...
Strike 1.
Yeah, I still have 2 more left. The first one is the Minnesota Timberwolves, so that could be good. And the stat I'm looking for here is top 10 in their franchise history in total 3-pointers made. Go.
Karl-Anthony Towns.
Anthony Edwards. Wally Serbiak.
Think some players.
Kevin Love.
Okay.
Beasley?
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good shout.
10 seconds.
Andrew
Wiggins, Reed.
Ricky Rubio.
McDaniels.
Chauncey Billups.
Sam Cassell.
Oh,
Okay.
hold on.
Kevin
Peeler.
Garnett, baby.
Peeler.
Please.
Wait, that is time? Okay, hold on, because you guys actually got a lot more than I thought you were going to get. First of all, I need to ask to be sure. Did someone say D'Angelo Russell?
No.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say
I can
that.
remember if
Think
Jack
about
did or
that
not.
broad.
And then also, who said Wiggins?
I said
Jack
Me and Ian both
Oh.
did.
Yeah,
Okay.
both of you
Do you
did.
know who said it first or no?
We said that.
I think we said
They
it.
said like
I'm going to give it to
time.
Jack because
Okay.
I think he did say it first, but I just repeated
Okay.
for moral
So
support.
with that said, you guys still did really good on this list. Let me total the points. So that is that. You got some there, and then you
Did
got
somebody say Michael Beasley?
Ian did.
I said Beasley.
Oh, you meant Michael Beasley?
Yeah.
Oh, Malik.
So I'm gonna give you credit.
I thought you meant Malik.
I'm gonna give you credit because I thought you meant Malik Beasley too. That was on there. Number 9 answer. Number 8 answer, Kevin Love, you guys got. Crazy pull from Ian. Anthony Peeler was on there as the number 7 answer.
Who's Anthony
That's like the only
Peeler?
name I had fondly
That's an
remembered
insane-
from
that is an
Timberwolves from
insane-
Who is
pull.
Anthony Peeler?
I don't know if I even would have got I'm gonna be real. Jaden McDaniels was on there, number 5 answer. Wiggins was number 4, Naz Reid number 3, Cat number 2, and Anthony Edwards is number 1. So you guys got 8 of the answers, 49 points combined. Great start. The 2 that you missed, of course, D'Angelo Russell, and the last one, I'm surprised. I don't think you guys said it, unless maybe I'm wrong, but Mike Conley is on there.
I didn't
Really?
think he would get up there.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, he recently recently just passed up. It was, I think, Ricky Rubio originally.
Oh, I said Ricky.
Yeah.
I think I do remember saying that.
Saying what?
I don't know.
Well, Holly would be up there.
Seeing that
Find the
Mike
footage.
Conley
Okay.
was in top 10.
So that is 49 points. You guys, good start right there. We're gonna see how you guys do on the second and third one. So are you ready for number 2?
Yes, sir.
All right. So number 2, we are looking at the New York Knicks, and I'm looking for their top 10 in their franchise history. And the stat here is points per game. Go.
Jalen Brunson.
Carmelo Anthony, Karl-Anthony Towns, Patrick Ewing, Walt Frazier,
J.R. Smith.
Dude, I'm so thrown out. J.R. Smith.
15 seconds.
Yeah.
10 seconds. 5,
Julius Randle.
4, 3,
I got no idea.
1. Okay. So that is time.
Ron Baker.
Okay, Ron Baker's kind of crazy. So
The only Nick I can think about right now is Ron Baker.
you guys got the number 1 answer. You got the number 4 answer. You got the number 5 answer. The number 6 answer. The number 7 answer, and the number 10 answer. So that gets you 33 more points.
Really?
Good showing. Jalen Brunson is number 1, just barely edged out Bob McAdoo, who's number 2.
Okay, that's
McAdoo?
Pause.
Yep. Oh, okay.
He edged Bob
I thought
McAdoo.
Bob McAdoo edged
Two?
me.
Strike 2.
All right.
Bob McAdoo could edge me.
All right, wait, yeah, what did we get?
Okay,
So what
wait.
was
That's one for Jack.
That's strike 1 for Jack right there.
That's
all right?
strike 1
That
from
was a
Jack.
gimme.
That was crazier than what I said.
The fact that I have 0 strikes, dude, I'm a changed man.
I think right now
These
Jalen
Stranger
Brunson's
Things,
only
I'm
like
so
a
like-
thousandth of a point above Bob McAdoo, so that got you an extra point just because it's like a game base. Bernard King, number 3, you did not get. Carmelo though, and Kat, and Patrick Ewing, and Randall, you guys got all of them 4 through 7. Number 10, Walt Frazier, you guys got, and number 8 and 9 were gonna be pretty hard because they were, number 8 and number 9 on here. Richie Gearin and Willie Knowles.
Yeah, no.
Who?
They played in the 50s.
I got no idea who any of these people are.
Yeah.
I know who Bernard King is. I'm upset I didn't get him,
So-
but that's
But
it.
you guys right now are at already 82 points. This is pretty good, and we got one more left. Now the last one I will say is probably going to be the hardest one, but I think you guys can still get a decent amount of points here. So are you ready?
Yes.
All right, so the last one, again, you have 30 seconds. I'm looking for the Utah Jazz, and the stat here is total points. Go.
Darren Williams, Gordon
Sean
Hayward,
Stockton.
Adrian Dantley, Pete Maravich,
Donovan
Hayward.
Mitchell.
Andre Kirilenko,
Donovan Mitchell.
10 seconds.
Joe Ingles,
Bailey?
Rudy Gobert.
Earl
5
Bailey?
seconds.
Mike Conley.
2, 1.
Did we say Gobert?
Yeah, I
Gobert's
did.
gotta be up there.
Okay, you guys actually, wow, did a lot better than I thought you would on this one too. So you guys got a lot of them. You got, let's see, 8 of them right. Wow. Karl Malone. I heard, actually, Jelson, I heard you say Karl Malone and Stockton. Those are the top 2 answers. Adrian Dantley was a good pull by Jack. Thurl Bailey, what a pull by Ian.
Really?
that's a ridiculous pull.
And then Pete Maravich was on there, Donovan Mitchell was on there, Gordon Hayward, and Rudy Gobert. So that brings your total to, let's see, 7 plus 6. Or wait, yeah. So 43 points on that one.
Wow.
Wow. I did not think you guys were gonna do so well on every round here. But wow, that's a good showing overall. So you guys got 43 on that one. The other 2 you missed on this one though were Daryl Griffith was the number 4 answer. And I thought maybe someone would say it, but Andre Kirilenko is number 6.
I said Andre.
Jack did say
Oh, he
Andre
did?
Kirilenko.
Well, then
Yeah.
I guess I give you guys
Let's
good
go.
points. Wow. Okay. That I must have missed that or something. So that is another 5 points. That is 48 for that one, and you got 49 for the first one, and you got 33 for the middle one. Wow. So I got to do this total real quick. 49 plus 48 plus 33. 130 points
130.
on the season. Very impressive showing. How does that feel from you guys?
Feels good.
Feels great.
That feels a little more than 6-7 points.
Okay.
Me at 60 plus 70.
Hey, that is crazy fast math right there. But yeah, with that said, I will say you guys actually have the second highest value of the season, but you guys will be seeded 4, 5, and 6. The only people who finished above you is, of course, 3 Point Weekly with Reek Knows Hoops, Gabe Slidden,
Oh my god.
and Run the NBA. I know everyone.
Semi-pause? They finished in front of us?
Hey man, only because you were there.
That's a sin. That's a sin. It's over.
Anyways.
We're gonna.
that was a crazy comeback. So
I'm
but
back.
130 points. I will tell you that's a great score. I've recorded like 34 people this season, so you guys will be ranked 4th, 5th, and 6th on the year. Good stuff. I think Jelson's frozen.
Jacob's
I was
lagging.
gonna say Jelson
Yeah.
is frozen. I need to take a photo of what he looks like when he's frozen.
What happened? Why is he frozen? Okay. But yeah, with that said, that was a good showing from you guys. I gotta give it to you. I honestly was like, hopefully they can even get above like that 80 or 90 point plateau. You guys got that after the second question. So good teamwork. And
What was the 2 Point Weekly's total?
they got 144.
Freaks.
They actually are the only people this season to complete a full board. So they got 10 for 10 on one of them. That was the Golden State Warriors 3-pointers. They got like obviously Curry,
that's-
Clay, and stuff, but also they got some weird ones like Latrell Sprewell and I think like Jordan Poole and Baron Davis and like a bunch of weird ones. Latrell Sprewell is
I'm
interesting.
guessing all that stuff.
It is an interesting one.
So with that said though, thought it was a pretty good show. Good Minny-Show-Ta, maybe. Hey, okay, that didn't hit. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. You guys got anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
1 second.
Oh, he's changing his background.
Oh, drum roll. How long can I hold this? Oh, wow. That is fast
Oh
work.
god.
That is incredibly fast work.
Jacob, you need to have this be your LinkedIn profile photo.
Oh my god.
Professor Jelson.
Oh my
I am
god.
here for class.
That's gonna be my new U of M like picture, like for my student ID.
Dude.
It's just like it looks so grainy too because the background isn't even in color. Like it just looks
It's
so
like a
rough.
dark web filter.
Oh god.
But yeah, man, it was
Crazy.
good one. Glad you guys could be on here. Is there anything you want to say? Anyone you want to shout out?
That picture right there is if I was one of the Slenderman pages.
Shout out Patrick Patterson.
Hey, that's a
Facts.
legend right there.
Shout out Anthony Tolliver.
Shout out Minnesota Wild Quinn Hughes. Quinnesota is back, baby.
Hey man,
Facts.
we'll have to see how
Shout
that
out
goes.
Laser Hayward.
Hey, you know what I'm wearing? The goat shirt.
Facts.
You guys
The
remember what
goat
happened
shirt.
last time I wore this on the channel?
Oh no.
Shout out Walt Lemon Jr. Shout out Wayne Selden.
Shout out Joshua Moon, you know,
Shout out Timothy Lowell Cabarro.
and Cameron Barris.
Shout out
Shout out Parker Fox.
Eric Murphy.
Oh god.
Come on, like.
shout out Dreet Archer.
Shout out Baron Davis.
Baron Davis. Interesting. Shout
Shout out
Nicole
Matt
Heritage.
Wallner.
Why not?
Facts. Mafia boss.
Shout out Antonio Blakeney.
Ooh.
Wayne Selden Jr.
I said
Shout
Wayne
out-
Selden.
Shout out
Did you
Josh
really just
Giddey.
say him?
Etiology.
Yeah, I said Walt Lemon Jr. and Wayne Selden.
Oh wow, I wasn't even. That's crazy. We could get in a rabbit hole of this probably forever, but I'm appreciating you guys again for being on here. You have to stay tuned for the next time I have these guys on. Could be something IRL. You'll have to see. Could be another tournament. You'll have to see. But again, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.